Thousands gather across Slovakia to protest against what they call the pro-Russian policies of Prime Minister Robert Fico. International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Grossi warns attacks around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have increased. Thousands of students block traffic in Athens in protest against what they say are delays to the probe into the Tembe rail crash. Thousands of people have gathered across Slovakia to protest against what they say are the pro-Russian policies of Prime Minister Robert Fico. The latest wave of rallies was fueled by Fico's recent trip to Moscow to meet Vladimir Putin, a rare visit to the Kremlin by an EU leader since the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Fico's recent remarks that Slovakia's foreign policy could involve leaving the European Union and NATO has contributed to the unrest. The latest rallies took place in 41 locations in Slovakia, up from 28 2 weeks ago. Fico is a divisive figure in Slovakia and has escalated tensions by accusing protest organisers of working with foreigners to engineer a coup. Fico's views on Russia have largely differed from the European mainstream. He ended Slovakia's military aid for Ukraine, criticised European Union sanctions on Russia and vowed to block Ukraine from joining NATO. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency has said attacks around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have increased. Rafael Grossi made the remarks in Moscow after talks with the chief of Russia's state-owned nuclear energy corporation, Rosatom. Grossi is in Moscow to discuss security at Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Russian forces took control of Zaporizhzhia in the early weeks following the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. In a statement, Rosatom said Ukraine was constantly shelling Enerhodar, the closest town to the plant. But Grossi said it wasn't possible to determine which side was responsible for the strikes. Rosatom also emphasized the increasing risks for nuclear security at the Kursk nuclear power plant. Ukrainian troops launched an incursion into Kursk in August last year, it says, to prevent Russian forces from launching strikes into Ukraine. Thousands of students and teachers have taken to the streets of Athens to demand justice for the 57 victims of the Tembe rail crash. The streets were also filled with placards made to look like tickets reading Athens to Thessaloniki with no return.
Είμαστε εδώ σήμερα γιατί είμαστε 57 λιγότεροι. Ήρθαμε να στηρίξουμε τις οικογένειες και τον αγώνα όλων των παιδιών εδώ σήμερα.
In a post on social media, the parents of the victims expressed their gratitude to the new generation.
2 χρόνια μετά την τραγωδία των τεμπών, χιλιάδες μαθητές συγκεντρώθηκαν στο κέντρο της Αθήνας, απαιτώντας να αποδοθεί δικαιοσύνη. Όπως είπαν, πρόκειται για ένα έγκλημα το οποίο δεν πρέπει να συγκαλυφθεί. Ζήτησαν την παραίτηση του Πρωθυπουργού και λένε ότι όλα πρέπει να έρθουν στο φως. Κεντρικό σύνθημα της διαδήλωσης ήταν «Δεν έχω οξυγόνο». Από την Αθήνα για το Euronews, Γιώργος Δημητρόπουλος.
Nearly 3.5 decades after leaving the Soviet Union, the Baltic countries of Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania this weekend will flip a switch to end electricity grid connections to neighbouring Russia and Belarus and lean in more with their EU allies. The severing of electricity ties to oil and gas-rich Russia is steeped in geopolitical and symbolic significance.
This is the last remaining element of our reliance or dependence on the Russian energy system or Belarusian energy system. Stop to buy any kind of energy resources from Russia, and it was our response to the war in Ukraine, which broke out in February 2022.
EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen and other dignitaries are expected for a ceremony on Sunday as a specially made 9-metre-tall clock in downtown Vilnius counts down the final seconds of the Baltic states' electricity ties to Russia.